The OnePlus 8 Pro, OnePlus's most expensive, most feature-rich and complete flagship phone to date. A phone that was apparently so good that OnePlus didn't bother making a OnePlus 8T Pro. Well, I've been using this phone on and off as my daily driver since the day it launched, and I have a lot to share with you. I'm Rohan from TechieTechTech, and let's talk about the OnePlus 8 Pro in 2021. Here we go. The most balanced thing about the OnePlus 8 Pro is its design. It screams premium and yet does not stand out as much as other flagship smartphones. The ultramarine blue version that I have here has a soft satin texture on the back glass and it feels amazing. Definitely one of the best finishes on any smartphones when it comes to looks and hiding fingerprints. There's a large camera bump in the middle which again is in line with every other competing flagship smartphone. We also have a mute slider here, a small thing that proves very useful in day-to-day usage. The power and volume buttons are still as clicky and tactile as day one. The thing with the OnePlus 8 Pro is that even though it uses all the right materials and has a comfortable weight and size, it is still the most slippery phone that I've used till date. Maybe it's the thin metal edges which don't let you get a decent grip, or maybe it's a sharply curved glass panel on the front and back, but whatever it is, I just cannot imagine using this phone without a case. In fact, I got OnePlus's own rough textured sandstone case and that has worked wonders for me in terms of usability. Flip over to the display and you get a beautiful 120Hz panel with a 1440p resolution. As is the theme with this phone, this is the best display ever in any OnePlus smartphone in terms of saturation, color reproduction and just the sharpness of all details. However, I do have two complaints. First, the curve on the side is way too aggressive which leads to a lot of accidental touches and lots of glare. If you hate curved displays, this is basically as bad as it can possibly get. Secondly, as I covered before, there have been a number of widespread issues with the OnePlus 8 Pro's display panel, from hole punch banding to black crush to even smearing. They're all still here. I still notice them from time to time. I've basically learned to live with it and frankly, it has become a non-issue for me over time. I still get a lot of questions asking if the latest software update has solved it or the newly manufactured batches have this problem too. While I don't know about the new batches, my phone is running on the latest version of OS 11 and all the issues are still here. Now of course, I wish these issues were not there in the first place or they were somehow fixed, but the fact is they do not affect my user experience with the OnePlus 8 Pro. Moving on, let's talk about the software and performance now. OS 11 has been kind of a mixed bag for me. It added a ton of useful features like always on display, but at the same time, they changed the entire design language of the user interface. OS 10 looked a lot like stock vanilla Android, while OS 11 looks a bit like Samsung's One UI. Don't get me wrong, it's still extremely fast and free of any bloatware, but I just preferred the stock Android look and feel of OS 10 over what we have now. Regardless, OS is still my Android skin of choice, mostly because of its fluidity, customizability options, and just the general lack of ads and bloatware. A quick word on performance, it's blazing fast. Seriously, this phone is as fast as the day I first got it. I've used it in a variety of scenarios, be it regular stuff like social media, texting, or power-hungry stuff like navigation, video conferencing, or gaming. The OnePlus 8 Pro takes it all like a champ without losing a breath. In fact, I will go as far as saying that this is the best performing Android phone I've used till date. I have confidence that the OnePlus 8 Pro will easily stay smooth for another 2 to 3 years. Talking of the coming 2 to 3 years, let's talk software updates. OnePlus is messing up here. See, just like the OnePlus 8 Pro is OnePlus's most expensive and flagship phone this year, the OnePlus 7 Pro was a flagship last year. The OnePlus 8 Pro got the Android 11 update back in October. The OnePlus 7 Pro is still waiting with no confirmed release date in January. Now think what would happen to the OnePlus 8 Pro when the OnePlus 9 is released in a couple of months. I hope OnePlus pays more attention to this and improves their software update delivery for previous models as well. Let's talk about the cameras now. If you want a full in-depth analysis of the camera system, you can check out our detailed review of the OnePlus 8 Pro, which will be linked in the description. Right now, let me talk briefly about my personal user experience as a camera novice who just likes to point and shoot. This camera has been excellent for me. Photos that I clicked from the OnePlus 8 Pro looked stunning, and even though Apple and Samsung flagships have better cameras, I never really felt that the OnePlus 8 Pro in itself was lacking in any manner. I did use Gcam for a bit but switched over to the stock app because it provided a more stable and bug-free experience. The OnePlus 8 Pro is undoubtedly the best camera phone from OnePlus, and unless you want the ultimate best quality camera in your phone, I think the OnePlus 8 Pro's camera should more than suffice for the general users. What might not suffice though is the battery life. When I first started using the OnePlus 8 Pro, I easily got 6 hours of screen on time, which translated to roughly 1.5 days usage for me. Now, I get around 4.5 to 5 hours of screen on time, which means that the phone comfortably lasts a day, but nothing beyond that. Now, it hasn't really been a problem for me since I've been staying home anyway, and Warp Charge 30T, OnePlus's charging tech, is super fast, but I wish there was better battery life in a phone this large. The OnePlus 8 Pro is also the only OnePlus phone to support wireless charging, so keep that in mind if you want to use that feature. Before we conclude, let's also talk a bit about the phone call experience. It has mostly been great apart from one problem. Now, I don't know if this is an isolated incident, but my OnePlus 8 Pro sometimes just fails to switch between VoLTE and voice over Wi-Fi. I have to turn the airplane mode on and off manually to get it to switch, which is really annoying. It's not a deal breaker, but it just irritates me sometimes. Now to conclude, should you buy the OnePlus 8 Pro in 2021? Well, yes, but maybe wait. See, the OnePlus 8 Pro is an excellent smartphone, without a doubt. If I had to pick an Android phone from 2020 to use for 2 to 3 years, I would definitely pick the OnePlus 8 Pro. So why am I asking you to wait? Simply because the OnePlus 9 is upon us, which means that you might be able to get an even better phone at the same price soon. If you end up not liking the OnePlus 9, you can always go for the same OnePlus 8 Pro at a cheaper price because prices tend to be slashed after the new version launches. Yes, you are welcome for all this wisdom. Anyway, I hope this video helped you out, and if it did, please help us back by liking this video, sharing it and hitting that subscribe button. Feel free to continue the discussion in the comment section below. This has been Rohan from TechieTechTech, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.